You figure smell me? Mm.
That's such a solid background, man. Number
Appreciate it, brother.
149. We got
Yeah,
a
yeah,
we got another 149 in us too. Pause.
yeah. That's a
Crazy.
fact. I ain't made it there yet, but I'm trying to get to 350. That's half of that. You know what I mean? That's the
Woo!
other half of that. You know?
500 one day. Let's go. We like that. We're just dreamers. You feel me? We just dreamers. All right, I'm ready when you are. You ready?
Absolutely.
Let's get this show on the road. All right, three,
Mhm.
2, 1, and welcome everybody back to a different conversation. We present to you episode number 149 of a different sports show. I'm joined as
Mhm.
always, or over there.
Mhm.
I'm joined as
Yeah.
always by Kem, and then I'm your host. As along with Kem, I am Thomas Saxby, and we got a lot going on. Basically, just in the NBA world. So this episode is definitely going to be very NBA dominated.
Oh yeah.
Sorry to all the football fans. You know how the NFL offseason goes. There is nothing
Mhm.
going on besides George Pickens signing
Mhm.
his tender. But we already talked about
Mhm.
that last episode. So with that being
Mhm.
said, Kem, how are you,
Yeah.
man? Kick us
Oh
off.
man, I'm pretty good, bro. I'm pretty good, man. This week, man, I'm gonna start it off a little bit dirty though. You know what I'm saying? As you see, man, it's a no filter zone right now, right?
Okay.
So, what I want to start off with is something very, very simple. Public relationships do not always help your public image. Okay. And why I say this week in sports, we had a breakup with my man Klay Thompson, and
Meg the Stallion.
I
Yeah.
don't even want to say the name. Okay, got you. There we go. Miss Meg, right? Now, at the end of the day, man, I know if y'all watch everything, man, my man got a little petty too, man, and had the Free Tory Lane shirt on, right? So what I want to say is
And he
shout
was
out
on
to
the
my
boat,
man Clay.
man. I love that.
Listen, man, it's kind of crazy, man, because at the end of the day, man, what we know Clay for pre-relationship was fishing in boats and hitting threes. You know what I mean? As a part of the Splash Brothers, man. Nothing public about him really was out. We know who his father was, you know what I mean? And everything like that. But man, this thing right here, man, to go public with somebody, man, who had the track record that she has, you know, known for swapping out, known for getting another
Yeah.
dude locked out, known for having
For
a
beating other
famous
dudes up.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Another writer dude, you know what I mean? At the same time, claiming his love for her, man. You know what I mean? Why is she even with Clay? You know what I mean? It's kind of a crazy little thing. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, man, I just wanted to say, man, it's kind of crazy, man. Public relationships don't always help your public image, man. Because at the end of the day, if we think about it, since Clay has been public, his play has been down. So, man.
Yeah, man. Clay is pretty I don't know, he's pretty well, he's kind of like it's almost like he's washed. I think he's just done with it all. I don't know, like NBA
Mm-hmm.
wise. Like you could tell
Mm-hmm.
by the way he talks in like press conferences, like he's just
Mm-hmm.
through with it, you know what I mean? And then this relationship probably was just another layer to that. And then now that's over. Now he's back on his boat. So I guess,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens. But it was funny because there was something circulating online that like it's just been this big debate between Clay was nothing before Meg. Like people are some like people are crazy saying that Meg is more worldwide known, and I was like, bro, just off the simple fact that Clay Thompson is Stephen Curry's teammate, and Steph is one of the most known people all over the world. By default, people know who Clay Thompson is. And then you got to remember the Warriors fans weren't just in America; they were every Philippines, like you
Yeah, that's
name it.
crazy, man. Like
All the
South Park.
random fan bases
That's
the
wild.
Warriors were popping up
That's
in.
wild.
So
Yeah.
no, let's chill on that. Clay makes more money, is more known, blah 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 blah. But that doesn't matter.
She
He's
has
doing
mad
great.
deals. It's not a question. We see her with
Yeah,
Dunkin' Donuts, Planet Fitness, all
of
these different
course,
things.
she's doing
She's
her thing.
definitely, yeah, she's a
Absolutely.
very successful woman,
Yeah,
but I'm just talking about the public
of
relationship
course. And
aspect.
then and I
You know what I
wanted to
mean?
dig like right back
Yeah.
into that. It's like it's just
Mhm,
as Kevin says, man.
mhm,
Some of these people got to stop going public because it just doesn't. If we
mhm,
would have never known about this, then we would have never known about this. I don't know.
mhm.
It is what it is. But
Yeah.
on the top of my mind, first things first, I just want to say Happy Friday, Kem.
Okay.
Got my cup of wine, poured
Okay.
here.
Okay. Okay.
We're having a good time. So we record this on Fridays and we release this on, hopefully we're gonna release this tomorrow on
Mhm,
Saturday.
mhm,
But with that being said, man, like I'm having a great time. I just want to
mhm,
shout out to all the people that are still with us, still on the train,
mhm,
still
mhm.
aboard. But what I
Yeah.
want to say is how awful the media has been
Okay.
during this NBA playoffs. And it's
Okay,
not
this
really
is
just the
good.
media; it's kind of just most fans' general reaction, which is kind of crazy to me.
Okay.
So like first and foremost, hold on one second. Go back to your room, please. I just gave you everything you needed. Go. Close your door. You should be in timeout anyway. Already been acting today. All right, my
Hold
fault.
up. I tried to steal with you.
My bad, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so how awful, maybe not just the media, but also like general reactions of people have been. This goes all the way back to that Steph and Kawhi matchup, ninth and 10th seed, when they were saying when Steph won, oh my God, he's the GOAT, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah, like he's the greatest to ever exist, blah, blah, blah. And Kawhi is such a choke artist. Like, Kawhi, like that Kawhi is gone and done. And then it kind of carried into this LeBron and KD series, most importantly, where
Mm-hmm.
LeBron goes up 3-0. The Lakers go up 3-0 in the series, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, "Oh my God, LeBron, the GOAT! He's the
Mm-hmm.
greatest of all time. This is for sure. This is definite." And then now
Mm-hmm.
that it's 3-2, they're like, "Oh my God, his legacy is fucked if he blows this lead." And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like both of those opinions couldn't be more wrong. I'm not saying like LeBron's not one of the greatest, but like a round one series where most of the stars are injured, I don't think this does anything for anybody's legacy. Doesn't do nothing for KD. Doesn't do nothing for Braun. It's just kind of a whatever comes out of the series, we move on because you guys got to play the Thunder anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Still most likely unhealthy. And then it's like
Mm-hmm.
the Jokic stuff. Like people are like, oh my God, like Jokic is done. Like the whole, it's all done. Forgetting like what he averaged, over the season, even with all the bullshit that went on. My bad. I
Well,
just wanted to rant real
yeah,
quick.
no, that's a fly rant, but I want to, listen, man. I'm happy. I wish I would have got the invite to the wine party today, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying. I appreciate it.
Pour up the next
So
time I go
listen,
on a rant.
yeah, absolutely. But listen, I want to kind of clarify a bit there though, because for me, right, as it pertains to their legacies are still being solidified. LeBron
Yeah.
James, as a Los Angeles Laker, is what he's done in the back half of his career. He's pretty much owns all of the records. You know what I mean? That are
And then that's
important.
the
You
you're
know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Like so
You
we
know what I
agree.
mean? That are important anyway. As it pertains to KD, this is the first season of him being shipped actually to Houston, you know what I mean, to actually try to uplift this young squad that we know is a part of the future of the NBA. Him being as old as he is and the injuries that he sustained at the beginning of the series, you know what I mean, is a clear indication, you know what I mean, that the shipping out from Phoenix, but, moving into Houston was a good thing for him. What happens right now due to injury is what people, I'm happy that people tune into us. And if you made it this far, we at 149, you know what I mean? Make sure that you like,
Yes.
comment, and subscribe, right? For real, and join the conversation. You get to see, man, that this is a building thing, even though, you know what I mean? It looks like it's something that could be captured in a bottle for the Houston Rockets, you know what I mean? On
Yeah.
as far as a championship type of run is concerned, that don't mean that it's all over. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that people are
Yeah.
so hyperbolic, you know what I mean, when it comes to some of these takes, because at the end of the day, we're seeing one of the greatest stories in history right now with Jason Tatum and the Celtics that we're going to kind of cover. Not like they actually have anything coming, but just him coming back. You know what I mean? Is a story in its own. You understand what I'm saying? The story of him going to Houston. Of course, they were good last year, and it's again they made it to the first round. And I don't want to rant real quick, but listen, his addition and the subtraction of Van Fleet don't mean that, you know what I'm saying? Like they made it farther than what they should have anyway without a true point
Yeah.
guard. So at the end of the day, man, get the hell out of here for you non-hoopers talking hoop.
Exactly. Thank you. I thought I
Mhm.
thought we were about to argue for a second. I was like,
No,
whoa,
hell
wait a
no.
second.
No,
No.
no, 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 no. I just wanted to
I was
clarify
like,
a
let's
little
go
bit.
because I'm
Yeah.
ready. I got wine in me. Let's go. No, all right. So let's talk about some recent headlines. So Anthony Davis and the Washington Wizards have been in the
Yeah.
headlines frequently. For one, Anthony Davis has sounded absolutely crazy in some of these interviews that he's done lately. Kind of just saying like the Wizards aren't like kind of built for success right now, blah blah
Mhm.
blah, which I'll
Mhm.
heavily disagree with, but I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
And then the Wizards, people are saying that the Wizards might look to trade him and all that.
Mhm.
What is your opinion on Anthony Davis, the Wizards situation, and then I'm gonna go ham.
Well, I think that for Anthony Davis, he still believes that even though he sustains the injuries that he sustains that are knick-knack and sometimes ticky-tacky and take him out, he's in a win now type of attitude with his age. You know what I mean? Where he came from with the Lakers, still being in contention, being traded for Luka to Dallas, where they were actually still slated to kind of make some noise with the Rook. He got hurt, he gets traded out there. So at the end of the day, I think that it's a mismatch. You know what I mean? Right now, because of what Anthony Davis is actually looking at. He's saying that they're a very bad team. That's what he said. You know what I mean? Talk about, you know what I mean, it being a bit toxic and understanding that they got like a tanking type of, you know what I mean, mentality going on over there that he's not familiar with. You can't be mad at him for actually voicing that, right? In all truth. In being sports, it's about being competitive. There was a really good thing that I saw the other day, real quick, just to kind of go offline, about Devin Booker, right? And about why Devin Booker never decided to get traded, right?
Yeah,
And he talked about how he knew when he was drafted, how they spoke to him and let him know, like, hey, we're in a rebuild, you know what I mean? And he knew that every night, even though, you know what I mean, even when they were like 15 and 50, you know what I'm saying? Like it might be the night that they might turn the corner. You know what I mean? So one of these, you know, when thinking about this stuff, right? You have to be young going into that situation. Where Anthony Davis is right now, I think with the other some of all parts that they got with Trey Young, you know what I mean, and all that, they're ready for that. They're built for, you know what I mean, 10 years, 5-year window, you know what I mean, things like that. Anthony Davis isn't, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it was pretty much a bad fit and bad business. You know what I mean? I'm not going to front. I think it was literally bad business. I mean, he was a championship player, man, that you drop into basically a tanking situation. We can talk about his injuries and all that type of shit, but when he's playing, come on, man, he got that Joel Joker, you know what I mean? Like those type of effects. You know what I'm saying? He does get to say this. And it actually is something that is apparent that we are going to talk about a little bit later as we talk about like the draft lottery and all of that type of shit. Like, come on, man, the tanking
yes,
shit
sir.
needs to
Ken. Now
stop.
listen, I like your take. I actually
Hmm.
you did pretty good just now. I fuck with
Hmm.
it. I fuck with
Hmm.
everything, but
Hmm.
I just think like Anthony Davis needs to just give something a chance. And I think like
Hmm.
with this Washington Wizards team, were they like the worst
Hmm.
team in the NBA last year by record? Absolutely, they were. But at the
Hmm.
same time, none of that had to do with him. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But if
Yeah.
he applies himself and he's healthy from day one and he does that, like listen to this team that he could have: Trey Young,
Hmm.
Keyshawn George,
Yeah.
him, Alex Sarr, and then whoever you want to put in the middle, whether it's Bilal. They have
Hmm.
a top draft pick, so that's another
Hmm.
thing that's crazy. In a really good draft, they are almost guaranteed to be in
Hmm.
that top five area, which is insane because we, as you know, as we talked about before, the college
Hmm.
talent in that top five
Hmm.
is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Hmm.
day, I just wish Anthony Davis would give it a chance because listen, man, you want to win a championship, you want to impact it that well. I can guarantee you, if Anthony Davis was to play on this team and they were
Yeah.
to actually play from day one, they are a really good freaking team, especially with the energy that Trey Young came over with. And
Hmm.
especially you got all them young dogs over there because I didn't even mention, Will Riley. I didn't even mention Trey Johnson. They still got Bub Carrington. They still got other pieces. And like I
Hmm.
said, they'll have money. They'll have one more max contract slot as well. So if
Yeah.
Anthony Davis could commit to the win, and this team could be a winner, I'm not going to lie to you. I believe in them that much. And I just think it sucks that he's coming out now and saying all this stuff, unless they sat there and told him that they're tanking next year, which I don't see why they would, because they're about to have massive amounts of talent. But
Well,
yeah,
what he was kind of talking about was like how the locker room talk was, how the building talk was, you know what I mean, and shit
yeah,
like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't inspirational or
of course.
motivational, you know what I mean? What made him believe, you know what I mean, that he's a part of a situation that he's not familiar with. You know what I mean? That's all it
Yeah,
is. It's like, you know what I mean? Like just because you get a big bag, you go to listen, you used to go into a company every day where it's 300 people in the place, right? And you
yeah.
getting paid a certain amount of money. You actually get paid the same money to go to a different building, but those it's not 300 people in there anymore. It's 100 people. So it feels, you know what I mean? Now you get to look around and be like, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? And it's just that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's you're right about he should give it a chance, but he's also able to voice that from what he's used to. You know what I mean? Like,
All right,
you know,
that's
he
fair.
should
You
give it a
gotta
chance.
You got a,
You know what I
point there, Unc. You got a
You know
point
what I
there.
mean?
So speaking of that, I want to kind of tie it into the same conversation. So we got a new draft lottery here that's going to start taking place next year. So it won't be this year; it'll be next
2027.
year. Yes, where the first, if you fall to being 1 to 4, being the worst teams in the league, you don't have as great of a chance as you would if you were 4 through 10. And then I believe 11 and 12, 13 and 14 have the same odds as 1 through 4 do, which is crazy. And then also included in the lottery will be the bottom 2 teams that make the playoffs, whoever lost that 7-8 games. So yeah, man, how do you feel about
Yeah, they're
that?
floating. I mean, they floating a bunch of stuff, man. Adding a play-in style tournament for the draft lottery, like it's a bunch of, you know what I mean?
This
Like,
is the official new lottery for next year.
we have to wait, you know what I mean, to see what they write in and all the way write out what's totally accepted, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know how that goes. But at the end of the day, I think that it's already been fast tracked. You know what I'm saying? Like half of this is to try to avoid tanking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But most of the hyper eyes
Which I
are
think
on
is
that anyway.
decent.
Yeah,
I
like
think
I
it's a
mean,
decent idea in all honesty, just because it's like if you fall, all you have to do is just try and compete every night to not try to be in that bottom 1 through 4. And I think that bottom 1 through 4, I don't know, it sucks because like the thing is if you do fix tanking and all the teams are actually putting their best foot forward and competing, those bottom 4 teams are actually going to need a pick. You know what I'm saying? They're actually going to need a top pick to revitalize their team. So it'll be interesting at that point of it, but I think for a temporary fix, I think it's cool because, like I said, I mean, teams are going to strive not to be in those bottom 4
well,
because then it would
2020.
be, yeah,
Yeah, because it's through 2026, 2027, man. We got to really see, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But the truth is tanking will be less predictable. You know what I mean? Like it
yes.
should make it less
Because I
predictable.
thought it was ridiculous
Um,
this year.
yeah, for real. You know, the bad teams don't control their own destiny anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, the teams, they're going to kind of aim for the bottom tier. You know what I mean? More than the actual bottom.
yeah, it
You
was a
know what
lot
I'm
of
saying?
weird
Kind of
stuff,
thing.
like a lot of
Yeah,
weird injuries, a lot of guys not
yeah,
even playing in the fourth
yeah,
quarter. Like it
yeah.
was a lot of
Absolutely.
craziness.
hmm Yeah, yeah. But for real though, man. I'm thinking for sure though that if it's not broke enough, right? Don't try to fix too much and add
That's what,
so much shit
yeah.
into it, man. You know what I mean? To make it unrecognizable and you know what I mean? Like it just,
So that's
you know,
why I said it was just like just penalize the teams that tank. Like I
yeah,
know it's hard to be like, okay, they did that, they're immediately tanking. No, just investigate it. Like
yeah,
investigate some of the players, investigate the code. You never know what you're gonna get.
yeah.
And that's what I'm
Agreed.
saying. Like if you catch someone like benching their players when they're in a close game in the fourth quarter, or making a terrible
hmm
play on purpose at the end of the game to lose a game, or
hmm
phantom injuries, whatever.
hmm Bless you, brother.
You all you do is you just do the proper investigating, and then you find
hmm
them, and then you move them to the bottom of the lottery if they're tanking. I don't know why we got to do all. It's like you said, it's too much. Like all these odds. If you do this, you get that. You do this, you do that. Like
It's too much,
it's
man.
like, come on, man. Like let's
Yeah.
just get to it. Like
hmm
MLB, I like the way baseball does it because it's like if you get a top pick the year before, you can't get a top pick the next year. I maybe they
hmm
could have done something like that, so where it's not like
hmm
people are sitting here tanking. Like honestly, kind of like the Spurs did. They tanked like 2 or 3 years in a row, and they actually drafted generational talent, and now they're here. Saying, I mean, the
hmm
Thunder never really tanked. I think they like only did bad one of those years, but the Spurs are a great example of that. They just sat on their ass for 3 straight years, and they ended up with
hmm
Wemby and Castle and Harper all in a row.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? So
hmm
yeah, very interesting stuff. We'll see how it unfolds. Like Unc said.
Yeah.
So Steve Kerr, there's a lot of rumor out there that he has coached his last year as the coach of the Golden State Warriors. There's a whole lot of stuff floating out there as to the reasons why. But Draymond Green, he came out with an interesting podcast recently talking about all this crazy stuff. So first, Kev, I want to talk on the Steve Kerr aspect of things. If you think it's
hmm
really his last year, the legacy he's leaving behind, all that good stuff. Any thoughts you got on Steve Kerr in general?
Well, yeah, for sure. I do believe that it's his last year in Golden State. Even if you look at the interview at the end of their loss, you know what I mean, in the play
Yeah,
in there,
yeah.
he actually talked about coaching somewhere next year. He actually, that was specific, I think, verbatim what he said. He's definitely going to be coaching somewhere next year. So that kind of alludes to that his time is up. You know what I
Right.
mean? In Golden State, of course, we know that he had an iron hand in the play style, who they drafted, who was developed, everything that we know Golden State to be in their winning and in the woes that we see about them now. So I think that like most organization, there does become a time where there is supposed to be a changing of the guard, a new face, a new voice. You know what I mean? As Steph is probably, we get 5 to few or so more years from this gentleman. You know what I mean? We are totally pleased. You know what I mean? But the next iteration of coaching and identity of Golden State, it needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because I think like if they're, I think his time is just come and gone. I think he was perfect
Yeah.
for the Warriors when they got him.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, Mark Jackson gets all the credit for doing all that. I think he gets some credit, but I think Steve Kerr ultimately pushed this team across the finish line in terms of motivation and like what he was able to like instill in the team and all that. But at the end of the day, like just like everything else, things run its course. I don't want to say that they got lucky their last ring, but like we could point out that season just how much Steve Kerr fucked up, and a lot of people were complaining about it in that championship season. It just so happens they hit overdrive at the right time in the playoffs, which is what he's good at doing. But lately, I feel like it's been a lot of misfires, miss everything. Like they just missed everything the last couple of years.
Underdeveloped and overused is what he
Yeah,
did
exactly.
with that
Exactly.
team.
And I just think like it's time, like if the Warriors are gonna win one more, if they're gonna pull one more out of the depths of hell, I just don't think it's happening with Steve Kerr. And it's like there's this big thing that he cares way too much about politics and all this other stuff being a distraction. If that is actually the true case of all those reports that are coming out. But at the end of the day, it's run its course. I think something's got to change, and you're not getting rid of Steph. You don't get rid of Draymond. The GM, that's up to the owner. So I think Steve Kerr is unfortunately the odd man out this time, and I kind of agree with it being his last year. So how did you see Draymond's comments from the podcast?
Of course. Of course I did. I mean, so here's the thing, man. When you are a player or any type of professional and you're a part of a team, right? So let's just stay with basketball, right? His role, right, at point forward, which was mastered, right, and highlighted through the coaching of Steve Kerr, he
Yes.
also says it's something that he feels he was underdeveloped, right, or whatever, right?
They ain't
Um,
draw one play for me after Kevin Durant. One play, they didn't draw one play for me.
you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, I think that he also had ample opportunity, man, to develop a jump shot. It ain't no question, you know what I mean, that Draymond is a dog and did all of the intangibles.
Of
Again,
course.
remember I highlighted that last 8 minutes of that fourth quarter and kind of told the world that we probably won't get another another one of those again, right? And we didn't. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We didn't, right? As of, right? But at the end of the day, his offensive woes is something that he has to actually blame himself totally on.
Yeah.
And he can't blame Steve Kerr on at all. It doesn't matter how he wasn't
We're
used in
not
the
going to use
system.
you if you're not a good offensive player. Like it's just
Exactly. That's where it matters because at the end of the
they
day,
would
we
have maybe
also saw
lost
you.
rings if they
Yeah, we
started right.
also saw. Yeah, we saw defenses sag off of you because they knew you weren't going to make jump shots. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that was for you to actually develop yourself in that aspect, so that when it's just like being the next man up, you also have to be ready for when you're open. That's the same exact thing. Even if the offense is predicated on Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, and whoever else
Yeah, you
they
could have been
bring
in the
in there.
gym to shoot and putting up some
Come on,
threes,
bro.
man. Like
Yo, you could have been elite. Listen, Brooks got better. I bet you his 3-point percentage is
still
better
improved.
than it's better
Yeah.
than Draymond's, and he does a lot of the same stuff. You know what I mean? So at the end of the
That's a good
day,
point.
it's
That's a
it's
good
also
point.
about what you work on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So at the end of the day, man, miss me with that, and I
Yeah,
mess with
because it's
Draymond.
like it's not like he never had his like attempts. Like I
Yeah,
noticed he shoots a lot more wide open now, but we know during that golden age of Golden State, he was passing up a lot of wide open shots.
yes. Come on, bro. Stop playing with me.
Yeah, yeah, because it was like it was a big thing, especially at the end of that like Toronto series when they needed somebody to like
Yes,
step up when Clay was dead, KD was dead. It was
yes,
like it
yeah,
was a
man.
fumbling ass DeMarcus Cousins
Yeah,
trying
stop
his
playing with
hardest.
me, bro.
Draymond
Yes,
couldn't make shit. And
yes,
Steph was
yes.
trying to do it, but Steph was getting triple teamed. It's like those are
And
the
that's
moments where
why
he
they
had a
got
shot, you might have gotten them even over the finish line.
And that's why they got DeMarcus out of there, because DeMarcus got real bullheaded during those times where he would even bring the ball up the full length of the court. Like, you understand
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And work, like he would work it all the way to the cup. So it was a lot of, you could see it, you know what I mean? Where there was a point where Draymond should have grown more offensively, you
of
know what I
course.
mean? To actually,
And like
but
it's like you said too. Like, don't hope you guys out there aren't thinking we're taking anything away from his defensive contributions or leadership contributions.
not
This
at
is all
all.
just where because
Not at
like
all.
Draymond said in that interview, he's like,
Yeah, we talk about offensively only.
yeah,
Yeah.
yo, this was the funniest thing too. How he opened up that little line. He said, I told Steve Kerr, man, like I didn't think he liked me. Like I said I don't think you like me. And then Steve Kerr, he just started crying. Yo, they need to meme that. Like if they put
Yeah.
that in like a game of zones or something, that would be
Yeah. Yeah.
hilarious. Because either that didn't happen or they're
Mhm.
just that corny.
I think it's the latter, brother.
Yeah, Draymond really approached Steve Kerr and said, "I don't think you really like me." And Steve Kerr started bawling, like, "No way."
Mhm. I think so.
That's such a
Mhm.
crazy thing to say, and it's just he kept going on. It was just he was contradicting himself the whole time. He was just like,
Yeah, it's funny.
love what he's done for me, love everything he's done for me. But at the end of the day, he held me back, or like
Yeah.
like he don't like me, like
Yeah.
blah blah blah. I
Yeah.
don't really appreciate him, or some things he did, and I was just like,
But that's
it's
what I mean about the underdeveloped part. That's basically what he's saying
yeah,
about the holding him back. Is like, you know what I mean? He didn't develop into more than what he was. That was up to him too. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and it was
so
all up to
man,
him, like
yes,
110% up
that
to him,
was
because it's
all up
like
to
he's
him.
worried about winning championships. And I'm glad you brought that up, because the other media discourse on Steve Kerr is, oh, he didn't develop anybody. But it's like when you're trying to win a championship, like that's up to either the rest of the staff or up to the player themselves. Like he's just putting players in the positions that they need to be in to
Yes.
win championships.
So coaches, what coaches do is put you in the position, and you are to use what you have practiced, been taught, and then your athletic ability to make the right decision, right? So at the end of the day, the coaches draw up the plays, the players execute them.
Yeah,
It's nothing in between
that's
that.
it.
So when it comes to Draymond, all of the assists that he gave to Steph Curry, right? I don't know why he wasn't in the gym shooting with him as well.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Imagine
Like,
Draymond like as a sharpshooter. That would have been ridiculous.
like, come on, man. Because the other things that he does is an effort-based thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like his steals, his action, his defense, all that is effort-based, which is, you know what I mean? Shooting is more of a skill. So you could
Right.
actually, you know what I mean? Like work on that. You know what I mean? This
I
is
love
crazy.
Draymond. He's fucking
Don't do
hilarious.
that to me, bro. Like, don't do this to me, Draymond. Yeah, man, don't make me do this.
All right, so let's move into the NBA playoffs. We got at you last week with our updates, and it's crazy how much things change since the
Mhm.
last episode. These
I
NBA
can't wait to.
playoffs.
Oh man. Yeah. Shout out to the people on collecting and connecting, my guy Paulie, man, because I can't wait to get back in there and get at them about see where Philadelphia at right now though. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. There
yeah,
was like we were the only ones that were like Philly, Philly, and
yeah,
everyone
like
else
what do you
was
got? It's
no,
wild.
but yeah. So we've been coming at these playoffs have been absolutely unhinged. They've been great. They've been unpredictable. They've been
Yeah.
crazy. But we'll start with the one thing that wasn't unpredictable. One thing that was very on par. The Thunder swept the Suns. So what are your biggest takes from that series now that it's over? J Dub, the only thing that I would say is negative against the Thunder is J Dub comes out with an injury, but we talked about that on the last
Yeah.
episode. So how did
Uh-huh.
you feel about that series?
It was B to A, man. You know what I mean? BTA, man. Real easy. You know what I mean?
It was
I
definitely
think, yeah, what I can say is I believe that Jalen Green, Devin Booker, Williams got a little bit of a window here, right? They get some other parts going here.
yeah.
Gillespie, really good too. They got to find out what they're going to do with the rest of the bench. Royce O'Neal as well, but latter in age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Love him. You know what I mean? I watched him everywhere he plays.
He's
So at
always
the
been
end,
he's always been that
yeah,
guy that could just get
yeah,
shit done. I love him.
for
Yeah.
sure, man, for sure, man. But at the end of the day, I think that there's still some things to come for those guys. You know what I mean? There's still some work to be done. But at the end of the day, man, what, man? OKC is doing what OKC is supposed to be doing, man. It's light work, and they not turning down at all. They want you to see, you know what I mean, that it does not matter if we got you 3-0, the boys still put like 45 on them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yo,
right?
one of
It
the
was
best
like,
games we've ever.
like,
Yeah, let's talk
it
about
was
that
like
real quick.
96% shooting or some shit like that. Like, what did he
Hold on,
shoot?
I
He was
gotta
like,
pull that.
yo, it
I
was
gotta pull that
wild,
game up in
bro.
order, man.
He went crazy, man.
Bro, it was game 3 where he 42 points in 38 minutes, shot 15 for 18,
Come on, man.
11 for 12 from the so only 11 free throws, 4 rebounds, 8 assists on top of that. So he accounted for like so much points during that game. It's ridiculous. This guy is absolutely ridiculous. If he gets, he's done it. He's gonna get the MVP. I think that's certain that he's gonna be the MVP again. But if he gets a championship, man, these conversations are gonna get just a little bit crazier, Kev. It's insane what he's achieving, man.
Yeah, he's mad efficient.
And it's not going to stop because the Thunder are in such a good spot. It's like I think we talked about it on the live last week about like even if they were to trade Jalen Williams, if they saw him useless, they'd be good.
And I hate to say that, but they straight. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm happy he got his bag, you know what I'm saying, and all that for it, you know what I mean, like that, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that they are. I know they're happy, you know what I mean, that they are the machine that they are with him going through what he's going through.
And I love that we're on a crash course right to Spurs Thunder Western Conference Finals. If it's like it feels like back in the day, you just wait for like 2 teams to meet up and then they do like I think about like the Lakers and the Nuggets back in the day, Lakers and the Celtics the second time around. I would anticipate the Knicks and the Heat. Like it's just I am so ready for this matchup. I just need it to happen. But on the Suns side of things, I think you were right. They have a lot to look forward to. I mean, this was a year where everyone was just like, you know, they built a weird team. They ain't got nothing to look forward to. Devin Booker's got to go. And they turned it into something. A lot of it was due to the very consistent play by Devin Booker. But I think in these playoffs, granted, the Thunder should have swept them. I think Devin Booker, he could show up a little bit more. Do a little bit more in these big games to get them across the finish line because I think like I don't know what additions that they make on top because they already got 3 big contracts. They got Devin Booker, Dylan, and then they got Jalen. So it's like you're kind of restricted on what you can add. So Devin Booker is going to have to make up for that just a little bit to get them to where they want to go. And then obviously, you know, if they develop some other stuff or whatever. But it's like you said, they definitely have stuff to, you know, build off of, which it's unexpected. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that in certain instances, you see that Devin Booker is also trying to make sure that, like, he's a different Devin Booker. He's an older and more experienced Devin Booker.
Yes,
where he knows, you know what I mean? Which is really dope, man, to kind of see him try to let them get in it. You know what I'm saying? And not just go crazy. Because he's going to get them where they need to be throughout the season. That's what he does. You know what I mean? But in the playoffs, he's going to need help all the time. He's not going to be able to, you know what I mean? Because he's getting beat up double time, you know what I mean, and carrying them through the season. So at the end of the day, man, that's why I say I love, because Jalen is young. What I'm hoping that we see more of him going to the cup. That's all I'm saying. That's all I want out of him. You know what I mean? I just want to see him more.
Because he induces a lot of contact when he does that. Like I'd be surprised. Like, and that's that. And I think that's what I've been looking for from Devin Booker is like, it's that aggressiveness in big moments because it feels like in big moments he likes to do the good high IQ plays. You know, he likes to shoot the 3, but it's like if he got aggressive and started getting to the rim in those moments and not standing on islands a lot of the time, like bro,
he's gonna get the call. He's gonna get the call.
Absolutely, he's a superstar, and I think we can agree he's a superstar in our league. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, it'll be interesting to see there. But nice quick little series we got out of that because the next one. Which, as we are recording right now, the game is, I think, just starting between the Lakers and the Rockets. Or I think it's later tonight. My apologies. It's later tonight. So we're not going to go too much here on who we think is going to win, but just the drama of the series in general. Lakers, they go up 3-0. Now they have lost 2 back-to-back games, and it's interesting because now we're going to Houston for Game 6. You're the Lakers fan, Ken. Why don't you kind of dish on what's going on with your Lakers, man?
Well, real quick, man. I mean, listen, man, we in for a fight. I mean, listen, it's no question that one of those two games we got. Luckily, we won in the last minute of the game, so there it actually could be three. I mean, you know what I mean? They could be up a
Yeah, it
game
could be a
on
lot
us.
different.
Literally, they could be up on us. Now, I think that when we're thinking about LeBron, he's did everything that has been asked of him. Now with Austin Reeves coming back, right? It's the integration of that. But I'm in Thompson in the last game, man. That boy's on a mission, though. You know what I mean? Like you already know how I feel about him. But
Yeah,
I don't know what we have if Houston plays how Houston played, right?
absolutely.
With KD, right? We're not going to get Luca back in this series. So we need DeAndre Ayton to continue to kill the middle, right? We got like 37 points in the last couple of games from him. Like he's been killing the paint, you know what I mean? In the last couple of games, even though we haven't gotten the W's. So we need to have that along with the sum of everything else to continue to go. Roy hitting, how Roy's hitting. Marcus Smart had like 6 turnovers too, bro. So you know what I mean? Like some of that, you know what I mean, just has to be cleaned up, you know what I mean? And it would have been
Right.
over. It literally would have been over. So at the end of the day, that game in itself, that's how I diagnosed the whole series too. You know what I mean? When we're playing right, it's not like we have to play perfect basketball. We just have to play Laker basketball, and we're gonna beat them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
It's
I
the
think
experience.
that,
You
and
know,
that's fair. I just, this is that one series where it's like,
we talk about
man, I
connection.
didn't care about the 3-0. Like, it's just
Mhm.
like the Lakers, they're depending a lot on this 41-year-old with sciatica and arthritis to like take them somewhere. And it's like, to me, it's
Mhm.
like, it's not a sustainable winning strategy, even though,
Right.
like, I mean, in terms of pulling off a sweep. I don't
Yeah.
mean in terms of winning a 7-game series, because obviously them going up 3-0 means that it is,
Hmm.
sustainable. But I mean in terms of them just blowing them out the water. You
Right.
got to understand that the Rockets, they are a very relentless, fast, quick, young. Like they will just go after you and go after you and
Yes.
go after you. Which is
Yes.
why, like, I'm not surprised that they're doing this,
Yeah.
because as these series goes along, he's a tired old man. He's gonna get tired, and he needs that the other people
Hmm.
to pour in.
Hmm.
So it's like the last two games when all these holes are appearing and guys aren't
Hmm.
doing what they did in the first 3 games of the series. It hurts
Hmm.
more now because LeBron can't do the take over
Right.
the entire game act
No.
anymore. So, and
No.
that's where
No.
Luka is supposed to be able to come in
Yes,
handy.
yes, and the longer
So,
the series go, the more susceptible we are to lose. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because of the age. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
the coming back from injury. You know what I mean? Like what
Yeah.
has to be put on Austin Reeves and
Yeah, like
Austin.
Austin Reeves, he either needs to make shots or not shoot as much. That's the big thing there, because it's like if
Hmm.
you're not all there yet, then you shouldn't be,
Hmm.
you know, just what was he like 4 for like 18 or like something ridiculous,
That was exactly it. That was exactly it.
like something ridiculous. Like you can't.
That was the
It's
split.
like it's kind of like when the Celtics they went up 2-1 and Embiid came back and Embiid did absolutely awful and then they
Hmm.
lost. But then now
Hmm.
Embiid got his legs under him,
Yeah.
so maybe
Hmm.
that'll hapen with Reeves. But
Hmm.
we got a game tonight. We'll see what happens. We'll
Hmm.
do quick little predictions in a moment. But
Hmm.
a bigger story is that the Timberwolves.
Hmm.
This was the funniest series of all time. For me, this is one of the funniest. How it played out is just one of the most hilarious things. I'll open up with
Hmm.
my take on this.
Hmm.
So the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets. Nuggets, they tried to stage a little 3-1 comeback. It's funny that whatever God chose for this series with all the injuries, it's funny that the T Wolves always had an answer. Like, Anthony Edwards goes down. Ao comes in with a big game. Ao goes down. Terrence Shannon comes out of nowhere with a huge game. So it's funny that they have all these answers.
Hmm.
And it's a bad look for Jokic, but at the end of the day, I don't think that's the end for Denver. I think they need to do a little changes. I think we both said that we didn't like that head coach that was in for Mike Malone last year. Kind of
Hmm.
bled into this year because they had no answer for Minnesota at all. Jaden
Hmm.
McDaniels in the beginning of the series said these motherfuckers can't guard anybody. They all suck at defense. Called them out name by name by name by name. And what happened
Hmm.
was they couldn't stop him.
Hmm.
No Anthony Edwards, no problem. How do you feel about this series? Because it was insanely funny to me, just how it was just poetic how it just all played out.
Yeah, it was poetic and old school, basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All they did was bust their ass. They got down in the listen. No, I'm being serious. They
They just
averaged
showed up to the fight and
yes.
just beat their ass.
Yeah, they was averaging 57 or so points a game in the point. I mean, in the 57 points or so in the paint per game.
Yeah,
Like that's a recipe for disaster in a 3-point era. That's more than half the contribution you actually able to get in twos. You know what I'm saying? So that's a
yeah,
great recipe right there. It's more of an indictment on Denver, and what everybody has always been saying about Jokic, at the end of the day, because what is
sad to see.
actually is sad and is a hard truth because also is when Rudy Gobert locked him down, you know what I mean? It wasn't nothing that the some of the other parts could do, right? What we also had a fabulous season from Jamal Murray, who Jalen McDaniels
Yeah,
shut down when it was crunch time.
absolutely. Like he
Shut
was a
him down.
non-factor.
He was like 1 for 10, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole like it was crazy. He shut him down. It was crazy. Wow, he's getting
I
busy on
love
the off.
Jada McDaniels rose on my like favorite players
Yes,
list.
and
But
while he was getting busy on the offensive end, he's also shutting Jamal down. So it was beautiful to see. More than anything, the other thing, than the indictment on Denver's offense is, hey man, I was calling for not like I was calling for the coach's head, but he is what he is doing behind the scenes is impressive. I was saying earlier in the season that he meant his job may be at stake. I
bench,
think
right?
that what we
Timberwolves, yeah,
yes, yeah, absolutely. But what these guys have been doing for each other may have saved his job and the DiVincenzo, DeSumo, and Anthony Edwards injuries. You know what I mean? They might
yeah.
get him
And
another
that's
job.
and this is
But
why like when you made that take, I just wanted to like point out to you like
mhm,
a big reason for the Wolves' success is indeed Anthony Edwards. But this guy Finch, man, like he's a dog, and I think they all adapt that mentality on that team, which is like
mhm,
it's great to see. You see all the way down, like they all act
mhm,
like some dogs. They talk their
mhm.
shit, and that's
Yeah,
who Finch is. He
yeah,
talks
and
his
he
shit as
yeah,
coach,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
said
So
it in
that's
the
what I was
press
gonna say.
conference.
Yeah,
Like he was like,
yeah,
"Oh, they asked me like,
yeah.
what would happen if they lose, round one? I guess we'll we'll never find out." And that's
Mhm,
kind of how it was, and that's what I like about him is that he will take like because some teams they'll come in and face teams with obvious like holes that don't get taken advantage of. But the
mhm,
Timberwolves, like they did last year, like Steph got hurt, they absolutely obliterated them. The Lakers didn't have a center, absolutely obliterated them in the paint. And it was similar to this time now. Jokic has been terrible on defense this year. I don't know what happened because he got to a point the last couple of years before where his defense improved a little bit. Like he was using his body, he was affecting shots. But this year, his defensive, ratings are all the way down. Like they're in the shitter. Don't know what happened there. But like you combine that with also on top of the fact that like none of them can guard absolutely whatsoever. That's all Finch did. He just saw what was there, put in whoever, fucking Terrence Shannon Jr. out of nowhere. Absolutely goes off. Bones Highland
mhm,
with some good games. It
mhm.
doesn't even like Julius Randle wasn't even like he
Yeah.
wasn't even like a huge thing like you would have expected him to be, and that's a
Mhm.
good thing. I love the growth of Julius Randle because if this was the Knicks and he had the opportunity to shoot all the shots, he would. So he's definitely grown.
And
Shout
that's
out,
also coaching. That's the other
yeah,
ode to coaching. That's the other ode. He has them. He's doing something behind the scenes, and because we only get to capture the low moments of West Coast games and not the full, you know what I mean,
right.
full spread, unless you got the league pass, which I am grateful for. You're able to see, and as we see now, as we've gotten into this first round of the playoffs, he actually just pulled off great coaching, right? He had his dogs on attack mode and showed them where to attack from, and it was the paint. What is awesome about this is here's a cool thing. Jokic got $300 million on the table right now, right? Now, he gonna get that 300 from whoever,
Right.
even though it's offered because it's that time, right? It's on the table for Denver. But if Jokic takes this 300, what does that do for him in Denver? Do you take the 300 for the actual production that you put in from Denver, or do you take the 300 from Denver because of what the future holds as well?
So You asked that in a very complicated way.
Yeah, because do you want to go somewhere else? Like, do you take
So
that
do you
money
think
knowing that
Jokic
y'all
should
not
stay
gonna?
with? Do you think
I'm
Jokic should stay
asking
with
you.
Denver or get out?
I'm asking you. Like, do you think
Yeah.
it's better to take the 300 and stay in Denver, knowing that they got what they have, right? Or take 300 somewhere else?
Logically, if I'm Jokic, I get out because the thing with the Nuggets is, as you've seen, it's almost very eerily similar to the Milwaukee Bucks and the
Mm-hmm.
decisions that they made. Like they won their one ring, both
Mm-hmm.
teams won their one ring. It was great. They
Mm-hmm.
struggled mightily before that. There was a lot of pressure on them getting to that point to winning those rings, and then them absolutely falling apart after. Why? Because they have terrible front offices.
Mm-hmm.
Logically, yes, Jokic should probably get out of there. I mean, look at the big contract they gave Christian Braun and how that turned out. That is just the brightest example, like how they've treated Bruce, how they treated the whole Bruce Brown thing in the past. You could keep going down the list of players that they let go, that they didn't let go. It seems like it's all been misfires, but they found out a way to win a championship in the perfect moment. Jokic hasn't been able to beat a 50 plus win team in the playoffs at
Mm-hmm.
all. He doesn't have one series win against a team that has won 50 games in the regular season. So I don't know if that's on him, if it's on Denver, but at this point, I think he absolutely should take that money from anywhere else. But the thing we got to not forget about Jokic is he don't give a shit. He just wants to make his money and play basketball and go home to his horses. So I don't think he cares too much about that
Uh-huh.
because he's already
Okay.
established. He's got his MVPs. He's got his
Mm-hmm.
championship. He has his overseas fame. He has
Mm-hmm.
everything. I don't know. It's. Do you think he like truly cares about like climbing the GOAT list? I don't
I don't
know.
think he cares about the GOAT. I don't know if he cares too much about the GOAT list as much as he cares about winning. I think he cares about winning.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Okay.
Where he was drafted, what he did to develop himself, the work that he's put in, right? The archetype that he's built, right, and has sustained, right, as a product. I don't think, and what it has produced for him. I don't think that he's willing to just take money to lose. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
All right. That's fair. I like the question.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
good. Yo, we are
Okay.
cooking this episode. We hope you guys
Okay.
are liking all this.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you guys subscribe, everything. Hopefully we're entertaining you
Mm-hmm.
guys. Because I'm having a great time with my guy Kem here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My allergies are killing me just a little bit. So another series, Spurs and Trailblazers, that was very cookie cutter. The only game
Mm-hmm.
that the Trailblazers won was the game that Wemby got hurt in, which was very
Mm-hmm.
understandable. But Wemby
Mm-hmm.
came back, had some things to say about the NBA and their concussion protocol, but they cruised to a series win, kind of showing that they ain't gonna choke under the lights, and then
Mm-hmm.
they get a matchup against the Timberwolves now. How do you feel about all that?
Well, yet to be seen, right? We're not going to really get into the matchup of them and the Timberwolves yet, but more over, I guess, them winning over the Trailblazers. I mean, hey, man, another team I believe that has some equity going into the future. You know what I mean? In the pieces that they have, right there, right. Them young boys are pretty good, man. I love them. You know what I mean? I think that they're a couple of pieces away in
They're
actual,
hungry, man. They're
yeah, and
here.
being an actual real contention, you know what I mean, for a second round, you know what I mean, and things like that. But as it pertains to Victor, man, we already know they clicking on all cylinders when he's there, right? I think that the horses that are in the stable as far as that guard rotation goes, right? Castle, Harper, Vassell, those boys are actually, I love them all, right? Fox, like they literally are horses, right? In every which way that you need them to be on the basketball court. So man, and then when we look down the rest, man, they're just a well-oiled machine. Victor Wembanyama's window is right now, but I do not still believe that it is his year or their year. I'm gonna be real with you. I still think that OKC, um, when it's all said and done, brother, you know what I mean? Should we get the matchup?
I'm
As we
hoping,
should.
man, because it's gonna be one of the best matchups we've seen. Because Victor,
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
gonna come guns blazing. They're all gonna come guns blazing, and
Yeah,
the Thunder
without
just
a
gonna be
question.
waiting, and it's gonna be
Without a
fun.
doubt.
And watching this, because this SGA and Wemby matchup has the
Yeah.
potential to be one of those rivalries that, like, one of those things we see like multiple years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we get to see these guys go to war, and I'm very thankful as an
Yeah.
NBA fan.
Mhm.
Spurs, they took care of business. I don't got much to say on that end, but I will say something about the Portland Trailblazers because you talked about the Spurs perfectly. I ain't got to say shit about them. You're right. You know, their window is now, but we do think I agree with you. I do think OKC will prevail, but it's good to see their dogs. They got some horses out there. They're still growing. But when it comes to the Portland Trailblazers fans, I just want to say sorry. I am so sorry that you guys are Trailblazers fans. I'm sorry that you got to go through with this. Not only did you just suffer through the Dame Lillard era, now you got to suffer with the cheapest owner in the history of sports who's doing cost-cutting measures that are on a whole different level. Talking about like hotel late fees that he's caring about, all the way down to he wants to pay, like purposely wants to pay a coach the minimum, which, yeah, that is very intriguing for just anyone to come over there and coach these guys. But it stinks because Tiago Splitter, I thought, you know, if you think about everything that went on, right? They trade for Damian Lillard, and Lillard's going to be injured the whole year. So it's kind of like, okay, they're kind of going into this year gearing up for the next. You know what I'm saying? Chauncey Billups goes to jail. Like after the first game of the season, he's going to jail. All that happened should have spelled out an absolute disaster. But Tiago Splitter helped lead this team to a 7th seed. Denny Avdija went off and was an all-star this year and did his thing. Granted, how much ever you hate his game or love his game, I hate his game, but I got to give him flowers, you know, when it's due. They have a lot of young, talented players, but I think we're going to go into this offseason, and if this guy is really this cheap, I think everyone's getting traded. And it sucks because they just achieved 7th seed in the tough West. That everyone talks about being, you know, like World War II. That's the West, World War II. And now the Trailblazers, who I think had a really good year, even taking a game for the Spurs, it's all for naught.
Bro, you really think that just because that little stuff came out about like making sure you check out on time and all that kind of stuff is literally going to play into the talent that's on the floor?
Because I think they're going to trade. If this guy is really cheap, he's going to trade Avdija before he has to give him money.
But minimums and like the CBA is the CBA. Like the minimums are the minimums in the like they are what they are. Like he can be cheap on what he has to outsource as far as like think about it this way. When you think about football, Cincinnati Bengals don't have a GM or like a training facility, right? Like a different facility.
Yeah.
But they still can't afford to pay Chase Burrow, like because that money is that money. The other money, you know what I mean, as it pertains to how they take care of the guys and their flights in it to other teams and shit like that, don't have to do anything. Those are separate things, you know what I mean? So he can be cheap, you know what I mean, on the other side of things, but for their pay, you know what I mean? And what is that called? Sorry, what are those called? Like the billable things, you know what I mean? Or the those things that, damn, what the hell? The accommodations type thing. The accommodations, he can make the accommodations slightly cheaper, you know what I mean? Or have restrictions on accommodations, but he can't do that on pay. So, and then their fan base is such a rabid, loyal fan base. It's hard to think, you know what I mean? That and that's because
they canceled T-shirt night. They canceled fucking T-shirt night to save money.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He can do that, but they're still gonna have talent. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Like, T-shirt night.
So what? Like, what the fuck? You're right. Yeah, we gonna do that. We trim
fucking T-shirt night. Come on.
Yeah. I might even go from beef hot dogs to beef
fucking ballpark
chicken. You know what I mean? The beef pork chicken ones. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
I'm dead. Man, you might be right, but like I don't know. It has to suck to hear.
I like where you're going though. But the pay for the play has to be what it has to be. Like he can't do anything there. But the accommodations and shit like that, he can do. You know what I mean? He set the price. Just like, you know what I mean? Like shit, what they're selling the nachos and all that kind of shit for, like you can go 1 week it's one price and you go another week it's another. Like they control that. You know what I mean? But you know, we'll see.
So by the time we have our next episode, I think we'll be starting the second round. So real quick, your prediction on the Timberwolves and Spurs series.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Hold on, let me see what Anthony Edwards' injury is looking like.
Yeah, I don't think he I don't think this is one of those ones we see him right now.
Let's see.
Yeah, bro, I'm being honest.
Yeah, so I guess he'll be out to start the series.
Mm-hmm.
It's a minimum 2 week injury, so he's at least missing the first like 3 games of the series.
Because I think, listen, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I think the Stifle Tower is looking forward to seeing the alien. I'm being honest. I think the old young thing is gonna be fly. They both flying Frenchmen. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's gonna be
Yeah, I
something
forgot
to
about that.
see.
They're both French. Yeah, they're both
Yeah,
Frenchmen.
man, they both Frenchmen, man. So I can't wait. So listen, man. Whew. And
Okay.
listen, man, we already know the young boy is a legend killer, and you know he going at that boy chest, right? If his knee is at all okay, right? We know that Anthony Edwards is going straight at their chest. So, but that's 3 games, man. So I gotta say, if he's injured for 3 games, I'm gonna say San Antonio in 7.
7. You think it gets all the
Yeah.
way to 7? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
That'll be one of the most intense
because I'm
game
being
sevens that we
nice, man.
get.
I'm being because I gotta, you know what I'm saying, man. I can't give up on them boys that fast, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Minnesota is my long shot all the time. You understand what I'm saying? That boy's a legend
Yeah, it'll
killer.
be interesting to see because you have to think like Jaden McDaniels is probably he's gonna guard Castle, I would assume.
Mhm.
But I don't know, like them injuries are crazy. Like it goes past just Anthony Edwards. Like Ayo,
Mhm.
if he's hurt in the series,
He
that's a
should be
tough
coming
loss.
back.
That is a real tough loss.
Mhm.
And obviously DiVincenzo's out, so they're
Yeah,
not going to
he's
really
out.
have sharpshooting to kind of come back. So
Mhm.
it's going to be a lot of this is going to be up to Randall and if Gobert can guard Wemby. And I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I just don't think Rudy Gobert is going to be able to really affect
Okay.
Wemby too
How many
much.
games?
So I have it in. I say I think Anthony Edwards, if he comes back like game 4, game 5, or well, he'll have to come back game 4 for this. I think they'll take one.
Mhm.
I think it'll be
So you say
5.
5.
But if Ant don't come back, I have a sweep. I just
Mhm.
I don't
Okay.
see like matchup wise. I mean, I
Mhm.
really don't see it. Maybe Chris Finch can pull out some like magic, out of his ass and
Mhm.
get them a couple of games, but I just don't. It's a different thing than facing. You know what I mean? Like the guys that they just faced. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Hey, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. The guys that they just faced, got way more playoff experience than the San Antonio Spurs do.
and that's
Uh,
true.
so at
Yeah,
the end of the
conference
day,
finals last year.
yeah,
Yeah,
without a question. I mean, the core of that team has seen more playoffs than the probably San Antonio Spurs team has seen games. You understand what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? Like it's a crazy
yeah.
thing. But at the end of the day, I mean, playoff games, best of 7 series type
I
shit.
don't know. I
Um,
think because like Conley's gonna have to play some good minutes. I don't know if he can keep up with Castle, Harper, and Fox. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I ain't worried about that part. I ain't that part. That part is incidental buckets. It's the big buckets, like the big guys in the space that's actually going to matter. Like, and to
Okay,
me,
that's fair.
if they can pick up that space, we got a great series. You know what I mean? What they did to the last guys with Denver, right? With how they were pressuring them on D, you got to be kidding me. They San Antonio doesn't have anybody. You know what I mean? Like they're
That's
fairly
what I
the
mean. Like
same.
if Ant was fully healthy, man, this would be such a different story. I'm
Yeah,
not
those
gonna lie.
motherfuckers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those the others are fairly the same on both teams. Like I'm talking about Jokic and Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Like their others are like, you know what I mean? We can make a case for Stephon Castle, but shit, he got Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, and I think we're
Or
entering this like we're entering a space here where we're gonna get all these generational matchups because you consider the Timberwolves and the Spurs and the
yeah.
Thunder and all that. I love where the NBA is headed, low key. But
Mhm.
let's go to the crazy ass East. So tonight, I think it just started. The Detroit Pistons and the Magic. The Magic got them up, 3-2. They were just up 3-1.
Mhm.
My whole
Mhm.
opinion on that, because I'm not going to give too much. I really don't know what's going to happen in this series. This series is
Mhm.
completely confusing to me. But I think at the end of the day, all it comes down to is the Orlando Magic decided to play the basketball that we all thought they would play at the beginning of the year. They're playing it now. And it's good to see. The boys are out there eating.
Mhm.
I ultimately will get into our predictions later. I just think,
Mhm.
with the Pistons, it's like I've been sitting here saying, man, if Cade is guarded up and locked up, there is nothing that they can do because they're depending on guys after that need Cade to ball. Like when you think about Durant, when you think about other guys. I mean, Tobias Harris is having a phenomenal series, though. Shout out to him for keeping his
Mhm.
legacy alive and going when so many people wanted to cross him out.
Mhm.
But yeah, what's your thoughts on the series?
Well, man, it's been a really, really good dogfight, man. I think that's my operative word in this episode. You know what I mean? The dogs, man. It's been a really good dogfight, man. Seeing Paulo and Cade match wit for wit, number one pick for number one pick, rise to the occasion, you know what I mean, time after time for their teams. Listen, this isn't a fluke for anybody who happens to be an NBA enthusiast, right?
Yeah,
Maybe for the casual, you know what I mean? But in preseason predictions, right? This is something that we should have been seeing from Orlando throughout the whole season. You know what I mean? Without a question, it's something that we should have been seeing. The addition to Bane and what they gave up for Bane, which and the great part about in the last few games in which they've been in contention and winning, Bane hasn't been that much of a factor as he's been
right.
in the games.
They
You know
kept
what I
him
mean?
alive when they needed it the
Yeah,
most.
you
So,
know what I mean? And that's what they brought him over for. You
yeah,
understand what I'm saying? To make the sum of all parts a full bodied machine. And that's what we're seeing. As it pertains to Detroit, listen, man, the ship goes as Cade goes. When Cade shoots more threes, Detroit is better, right? It's just that simple.
it's just like that.
When Cade shoots more threes, Detroit is better, right? Because at the end of the day, that gives them that in and out element that does give the others way more operational space. You know what I mean on the court. It's a real cool thing, man. To actually watch, but and to see that they're not totally relying on Denoris Jenkins, you know what I mean? Like that. That's hard for me to watch sometimes. I do love the
Yeah,
gentleman.
you
Listen,
be going after them like using this guy.
yeah, man, because I love the dude, man. I love him a lot, but I think that it's something to see that, you know what I mean? He's an
Yeah,
impact
he's
player
still
for
like
them.
he's
So,
growing, man. Like he had a few
yeah,
good games, but he's still got
yeah,
a lot more to
yeah.
go.
He need to be exposed. You understand what I'm saying? As far as Detroit goes, you know what I mean? I will put him in a blender as much as possible. But Duran, man, if I'm being honest with you, man, barely cracking 10 points a game, that's bothering me. To not, that's actually hard to watch. You know what I mean? In all truth.
Yeah, man. So next series because this is another one that's going on tonight as we speak. The
Mhm.
Raptors and the Cavs. Cavs got a 3-2 lead. They're
Mhm.
staying alive. A lot of people were scared because Toronto did have a big lead in
Mhm.
Game 5.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, mines are just simple. I think this has been the goofiest basketball I think I've ever seen in a playoff
Mhm.
series. There's a
Uh-huh.
lot of crazy stuff going on.
Uh-huh.
It's tough to see because you want to see Cleveland do a little bit. I know ultimately I think the Cavs they get out of this series, but you would like to see them do a lot better than struggling with the Toronto Raptors. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of all I really got. I can't evaluate the Cavs because it's like if the Magic moves on, I think that should be food for the Cavs too. But you don't
Mhm.
know with the Cavs, and it's tough.
Well, I think that the Cavs of old is what we're trying to, or what they're trying to get out of. You know what I'm saying? Actually having Spider shoot, you know what I mean, as much as where it looks like a game where he's gunning and it's nobody else there. I think that the plan for them right now is to make sure that everybody gets involved, and I think that that's Spider's plan too. You know what I mean? And why there isn't any clear dominance or anything to really assess. You know what I mean? In the playoff, it's hard to in this matchup. It's hard to assess it. It's easier to kind of talk about the Toronto team and the others and what they're doing to stay in the games, right? We see the hobbled up Barnes going crazy, right? We see you know what I mean, the RJ Barrett giving it all that he got, even though I'm not sure if he's an actual NBA player. You know what I'm saying? It's just some wild shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I told you, see it, man. You see the sign, man. It's a no filter zone today, man. I'm not sure if he's an actual NBA player, man. You know what I
Fair.
mean? We got Bi hurt, man. You know what I mean? Like his heel, that I think is probably the straw that broke the camel's back as it pertains to Toronto for me. But listen, I love RJ Barrett. You know what I mean? But I'm just not sure he's. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's fair.
Hmm.
I mean, so yeah, let's move on to the two series. I'm sure we want to talk about the most here. After we got through that slot part of the East, that is a crazy side of the bracket. That's all crazy basketball going on over there.
Nasty work, bro. Nasty
Nasty
work.
freaking work, man. And one of those teams are going to represent the East in the conference finals. So,
Hmm.
but that plays into one of these teams, one of these four,
Hmm.
one of these three teams that are left on this side. So
Hmm.
the Knicks, they
Yeah.
man the fuck up and beat the shit out of the Hawks since we last had our episode. I just want to
Yeah.
say I am sorry to the Knicks that I said
Mhm.
they looked unmotivated. They were this, they were that. The
But they
Knicks
did.
manned
Whoa.
up and got it done. It was belt to
Mhm.
ass, 50-point game in game six.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that, Cam? How do you feel about the
No.
Knicks moving forward? Because in my eyes, I feel like they are best positioned in the East right now.
Mhm.
After seeing the Cavs play, after seeing the Pistons play, after seeing the Celtics
Mhm.
be hurt and all that, how do you feel about the Knicks moving on in that whole series with Atlanta?
So listen, you know that I reserve my takes to change every episode after basketball has been watched. You know what I'm saying? You
Yes.
can actually, and games have been played. You can change your take. You don't have to be sorry, bro. Them niggas did look unmotivated. They did look like they was on an island and didn't look like the Knicks that they should have been. Listen, the crazy thing about what we talked about is it's not it's not about Atlanta not having a puncher's chance. They should have a puncher's chance, but the Knicks should be clearly outclassing them. You know what I mean? Like they did in the last game. You know, it's easy. I told you what I love. I love angry OG over everything. As it
Yo,
pertains to the Knicks, right? Because when you have an angry OG, you also have an assertive Cat because Cat is the one who usually is feeding OG off of if he's not gobbling it up off the glass himself. So at the end of the day, the things that most people want to happen with the Knicks about it going through Cat and it depends on how Cat plays. I think it's more about an angry OG because that means that both of them are actually activated. You know what I'm saying? And being assertive for the Knicks. Listen, without a question, they are poised right now. You already know that I believe in Philadelphia and their actual ceiling, right? With what we got going on with Jason Tatum that we can touch in a minute. But at the end of the day, without a doubt, man, the Knicks look like they are ready to make it to the finals. They should make it to the finals without a doubt. Without a question. They should put belt to ass on the experience in which we known Mikal Bridges to make. You know what I mean? 10 points in like the first quarter before there was a real bludgeoning going on, you know what I mean, in that game was also great to see too, because Jalen Brunson got him involved right away. So what we saw there was just a full, full ass whooping from start to finish. You know what
that's
I
the
mean?
truth, though.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
so yeah. As the Knicks fan, here I am incredibly proud of this team because it's like, listen, man, like I have never in my lifetime see the Knicks really rise to the occasion like the way that they did in this series right
Me,
here. Like
me
they've won
either.
series in the past, the last couple of years. You know what I'm
In my
saying?
life either.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm being
Um,
honest.
and we've seen it. Like the Knicks have made the playoffs. I don't know how many years in a row now, or how many times out of how many years. It's been like 5 out of 7 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not seen the Knicks really rise up the way that they rose up at the end of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Anthony Towns. My first shout out is to him, and this is the first nice thing I'll ever say about Carl Anthony Towns on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Hats off to Cat, man. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he in this series, I don't want to talk about the defensive side because he was clearly taller than all them motherfuckers on the court.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
play into that until he faces an actual center, and we'll see what he does
Mm-hmm.
then on the defensive side. But on the offensive side, he was whatever the Knicks needed at whatever time they needed him at. Whether he was
Mm-hmm.
inside, he had 2 triple doubles this series. He was
Mm-hmm.
crashing the glass. He was doing what they needed. Mitchell Robinson behind him was an absolute just dog when,
Mm-hmm.
when he stepped on the court. I think the Knicks are in the right state of mind now that I don't want to say Bridges is fixed, but at the very least
Yeah.
he's usable again. Because as we saw earlier in the series, Bridges was benched. You know what I'm saying? He was benched for a whole second half of the game,
He said
and
he's
we need him on
usable.
the court. If the Knicks are going to win basketball, or if they're going to win a championship, Bridges has to be a part in that. He's just too integral to the team right now. But it's like you said, OG Anunoby is an absolute crackhead this year, and I'm loving every moment of it. He's huge. He is one of the best defensive players in the NBA. Never gets his flowers. And then on the offensive side, he's just become this guy. He's
He
become
take
a
it
guy.
on himself.
The
Yeah, he
biggest
take it
part
on
about
himself.
it is we have not seen Jalen. Like, he had a game in this series, but we haven't had him have his hot stretches over the course of a series. And them all stepping up is going to be so critical for when it is time for Brunson to step up. And
Yeah.
I will be very disappointed and angry if the New York Knicks are not in the finals this year. That's how much faith I have now, because
Just
it's like
from
I
that
said,
game,
all
huh?
year it is what it is. They experiment, another day at the office, whatever. What matters is what happens in these moments. And they rose when they had to. They were down 2-1. The media was loud. They had to win. Game 4 was the most important game in New York Knicks franchise history almost. And they rose and they won the next 3 games. So yeah, if the Knicks don't, go to at the very least go to the finals, I don't even know, bro. I don't know where I stand, because it won't make sense to me. You look at the rest of the East, the Cavs are goofballs. You know what I'm saying? The 76ers and Celtics are going to war. Embiid is he's Embiid, and Tatum is hurt again, and you got all this other shit going on. The Pistons ain't real, the Cavs ain't real. It's all goofy. The Knicks are the one solid thing in the East, and I'm telling you, I will be sad on this show if the Knicks get eliminated before the finals.
Yeah, that would be ugly as hell, bro. That would be
Yes, sir. So we have another important game that's actually tomorrow. So this show will release right before this game, which I'll be so happy about. The Celtics and the 76ers. Let's end the show with this series right here. Joel Embiid was hurt for the first few games. The 76ers were going to war. He came back. They sucked. And then now it's game 7. So let's talk about the 76ers side of thing before we open up the Celtics. Kind of make our predictions for game 7, because I don't even know, as we sit here right now, I don't even know who's going to win. But what's up, Ken? What do you got for the one of the best series that we're seeing?
Yeah, man, what an awesome series. So the first thing that I want to highlight is last night, well, not last night, the other night with the win in Philadelphia, what happened to Jason Tatum with we see him leave, you know what I mean? Exit the game. What was that, third quarter or something like that? The beginning, he played a little bit, like 6 minutes into the third quarter. I think he got up
Yeah.
out of there. What's crazy about that, right, is he had a right Achilles tear. At the end of the season last year on the playoffs against the Knicks, right? But what's scary about that is that it looks like it could be like an overcompensation injury. You know what I mean? I don't want to put the horse before the bit. You know what I mean? We want the brother to be, you know what I mean, A-okay. I am totally enamored and just praise to the brother for what he has been doing so far in just his return. But listen, man, we saw and have seen these things happen before. So if it relies on Jason Tatum being 100% healthy, right? I hope that he is, right? We get the game tomorrow night, right? But what I will tell you is I actually believe in the defense of Paul George, okay? Kelly Oubre, right? Joel Embiid,
Okay.
BJ
So
Edgecombe.
you got the Sixers winning this one?
So listen, man, I know that it's in Boston, and I know that it's going to be crazy in the Garden, but I got Philly pulling this one out.
And oh man, I was hoping we disagreed on this one, but we do not. I got Philly in this one as well. Listen, man, if
Come on,
Embiid
bro.
and the Sixers blow this, I don't know what else it'll take, man. I really don't know what it'll take for them. Like, Embiid, he got his legacy in his hands right now. And if I know
Yeah.
anything about Joel Embiid, he's going to show up and he's going to give it his all, and he's going to have a classical Embiid game. And I just don't know if the Celtics have enough to combat that. Like, if Embiid comes out and gives you 30 and 10 or something close to that, I don't see where, the Celtics, because the Sixers defense, they got Jaylen Brown figured out. He hasn't been able to do shit the last couple of games. And Jason Tatum, praying for this man. I hope he don't play. I hope he doesn't push it. I know we know he's going to. We know he's going to be playing this game most likely.
He's going to play.
I
He's
think
going
he
to play.
starts and they take him out. I think he is. It's just something you don't mess with, man. Like, this is a top 10 player in the NBA on your team right now, and it's like the Wolves. they weren't going to let Anthony Edwards, push the envelope. And I think the Celtics should not let, Jason Tatum do it because it's scary. It's
So
scary.
they did a lot. They did a lot this whole entire season without him, right?
Yes.
What Joe Mazzulla was able to get out of that bench, you know what I mean? And Jaylen Brown, like he was in running for the MVP, right? I don't mean to cut you off, but you
No, you're right
highlighted
though. You're right.
you actually just gave a picture to the defensive shout out I was given to Kelly Oubre and George, but they got him bottled up, bro. It's a
Yeah,
wrap
he's
for him
not
right now.
he's not impacting the game offensively
Yeah, like they
positively in
got
the
him bottled
slightest. They
up.
got Derek White having
Yes,
one of the
like
worst playoff series
he's seeing
efficient
ghosts.
wise of all time.
He's seeing ghosts, and then you
That's what I'm
can't
saying. If
count.
Tatum ain't there, I don't know where their points come from. Like Peyton
Mm-hmm,
Pritchard's gonna have to drop a 50-point game
mm-hmm,
for them to have a
mm-hmm.
chance, or Derek White's gonna have to figure it out, or Brown's gonna have to just wake up and because Nick Nurse, man, this is what I was saying. And I know it's taken a few years to get to this point for Philly, but it's like Nick Nurse is a dog, and it's why he's still on that team. A lot of people were calling for him to be fired the last couple of years because they haven't achieved what they should have. But they kept Nick Nurse because he knows what he's doing. And I think this game 7, man, there's a lot of legacies on the line over there in Philly. And if Embiid shows up and has a bad game, that is, oh my God, it's going to be bad for him, bro. Because it's like you're healthy now. Like you had your appendicitis surgery. There's nothing bothering him. There's no leg. There's no nothing. If Embiid, it's up to him, man. If he shows up, they win. If he don't, they lose. That's all there, and it'll be interesting, man. And either way, I know Maxi's gonna ball out, so that's why I can't picture in my head.
Him and Edgecombe, and listen, I'm telling you, PG is coming to play. Like them boys coming to play.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I can't picture in my head the Celtics pulling this off. And maybe I'm amazed again by Mazzulla's head coaching and he figures it out, but I just nothing in my head convinces me that the Celtics are gonna win unless Tatum is magically healthy and out there balling his ass off. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's what we got for you guys. So listen, Unc, why don't you take us out with an Unkism? I know there was a couple things, that I had on the script that we didn't get to, but we gotta hit the road. So why don't you leave us with some words, wise words, and let's get on out of here.
So listen, my wise words right now is still going to be about basketball. Something we were going to talk about here today that I want to end y'all with is a team I want to shout out for this season that actually didn't make the playoffs, but here's something that you should love. The Utah Jazz was competitive without cheating the process, y'all. They had no fake shutdowns, no mysterious injuries, and no race to the bottom. They played straight basketball all year long. Real development, not empty numbers. Lauri Markkanen, we already know, was messed up, right? But Keontae George, before he got hurt, you actually saw legit growth, right? Walker Kessler, right? Think about these things. Then you got the young boy, Ace Bailey, who actually showed this season at 6'6", well, we're going to say about 6'8", right? Is a wing, right? Who can create his own offense and is willing to commit on defense, right? That star potential, skill, role player stuff as a rookie. Literally, bro, right? Now listen, confidence, he don't defer at all when it comes to defense, right? But what I want to just make sure that I let y'all know, a lot of teams rebuild by losing on purpose. Utah said we're going to build and compete. This needs to be the model of the NBA. As we were talking about the new lottery structure that is coming into play and everything like that, the bottom line is no playoffs, but they built identity, accountability, and real rotational pieces. So watch out because that's a foundation. All that
Utah Jazz are coming, Unc?
Yeah, they coming.
And with that, we'll end off with that. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, leave some feedback, do all that good stuff. We appreciate all you guys that are listening with us on this journey with us. There's not another place where you'll find better laughs, hotter takes, and everything different. So get on the fucking train, man. Have a good day, night. Happy weekend, everybody. We're out.
We out.
Oh, hit the music. Hell yeah, man. How about that?
Yeah, that was nice.
Another day, another dollar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right.